Hello, and welcome back to the Two Dudes in a Podcast.
Hello. Again. Yeah.
We're your two dudes.
Two dudes.
On to episode 4.
Episode 4.
Clone Wars and Corn.
Clone Wars and Corn.
It's the best I could come up with after last week's really good episode title.
Yeah, it was a pretty good episode title. I think it was a good episode title. Okay.
How you been?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
After today, I don't know how we can be.
More than okay.
It's been midterms week.
It's just been midterms week. Oh, yeah, it was midterms week.
How you think you did on your midterms?
Oh, I did fine.
Me too.
Woo.
We were like the first 2 people who finished for our theater midterm.
That's neat. It was pretty easy.
We're so smart.
Yeah,
Look at us.
I didn't even need that sheet of notes.
No, it was really easy. The only thing I was worried about was like if it's not multiple choice, I'm done. But then he said something about terms, and I was like, is it going to be like the study guide we got? Fill in the blank, and it's got a word bank, but it was multiple choice. I'm like, how hard could you make a theater test? Actually, don't answer that question. You could make a theater test terrible.
Very hard.
Are you okay? Are you tired?
I don't know. I'm trying to spice things up a bit.
Okay.
So I could start rambling about who knows what when that happens.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So last week, we talked about a little short film that Studio 24 was doing.
Yeah.
The Corn Job.
The Corn Job.
It was not released the day after the podcast because of
I thought that was
technical
weird.
difficulties.
I was like, it's Saturday, but there's no Corn Job.
Yeah, no. There was some technical difficulties behind the scenes, but it got released Sunday.
Yeah,
so it did get released this past weekend.
I didn't watch it until like a few minutes ago before we started recording.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You saw the original cut.
Yeah, I saw the original cut.
This is just the original cut in this studio, quote unquote Studio 24 cut. What's the deal between them? Added
deal
scenes?
Between them?
Yeah.
Why are you asking me?
Why are you? Because you've seen them both.
Yeah. It's got one added scene I can remember. It was mostly extended stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly extended stuff. I still thought some of the pacing felt funny.
Yeah.
Some of the acting was a little funky sometimes. Some of the staging was also a little wacky.
It's a wacky film.
Yeah, that's the point. Some of the staging was pretty boring.
Yeah. I mean, that's just part of the theming that we got from Clarksville, though.
Really?
Yeah. They said farming. We said, oh, so you want an open field with cows?
What do you know about farming?
We don't know anything. We just winged it, dude.
Okay.
What do you know about farming?
Well, I've picked up on a few things. You know how I was able to not step in any big mud piles when we took the cover photo?
Yeah.
That's from years of experience of watching out for cow pies.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I've raked hay a couple times. All sorts of stuff.
Brandon's farm adventures.
Yeah. My dad helped birth a cow once.
Okay. You are like
my 4-year-old
a mystery
sister,
that unravels.
Yeah, my 4-year-old sister drove a truck into a barn. I haven't told you that story yet.
Tell me this story. Break this news, please.
Well, it was 2 years ago because she's 6 now, but it's the little redheaded one.
Uh-huh.
She was 4 years old at the time, and she wasn't in school yet, and I had just gotten out of school before finals in high school. And so we decided to go help our grandfather, who owns this big old hayfield behind his house and stuff. And he's got this barnyard, which is pretty close to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And we went all the way out to the back 40, which was the biggest field, farthest away from the house, via his truck. It's a big silver truck and stuff. And so we got out there, and then I remembered that I forgot my glasses in my car, which was back up at the house. So me and my sister got in the truck, and we drove back, and I think it had just stopped heavily raining for the past week. It had been raining a lot recently. So there was mud all over the place. And so we drove the truck up back to my car. I got my glasses. And I got back in the truck and I pulled it backwards to turn around and go back to the field.
Yeah.
But I got stuck in the mud.
Ooh.
The back tires did. And I got this great idea to tell my sister to push the gas pedal while I push the back of the truck out. Now, the thing is, I only thought this had about a 5% chance of working. I
think your math was a little wrong.
It was totally by chance. I didn't think it was going to work, the bottom line. So, bad thing is, it worked. Good thing is, it worked. It got unstuck, but the truck flew right across the barnyard into the pillar of the barn, and nobody got hurt. The truck was a little banged
How
up.
was the barn?
Me and my dad put it back together the next day.
So it had seen better days after this truck ran through it.
Yeah, and
how was the truck?
the truck was pretty beat up. It wasn't. The windshield was fine. I think a headlight was broken. The grill was cracked, I think. I felt terrible. But nobody got hurt.
Nobody died.
Nobody died.
What did your little sister think?
She was fine. She was like, I did that.
She like, can I do that again?
No, I freaked out for a minute. She was like, what happened?
She was like, did I do the thing right?
Yeah.
Sticks head out window. Is it unstuck?
Yeah, this is the same sister who watched me playing Doom 2016 a few nights ago. And she was like, you know what? I want to play.
Oh, no.
And then you fast forward a couple hours the same day after she drove the truck into a barn, and the same grandfather gets run over by a tractor.
That's just a lovely day. Oh, man, the tractor was more beat up than him.
It was more like the rake. It wasn't an actual tractor. It was the rake, the attachment on the back of the tractor.
So it like hit him?
Yeah, it rolled over his right ankle, I think, and over right up his leg, pretty much.
I don't know how painful that's supposed to be, but okay.
Well, nothing broke.
Nothing broke.
He was fine.
No flesh
2 days
wounds?
later. No.
He's fine.
He's fine. I think. He might have a problem with his knee now.
Well, that could just be old age.
And then a few days later, my grandmother had to be rushed to the emergency room.
This sounds like a great couple of days.
We're still dealing with the aftermath because my grandmother won't stay off of her foot that she had to have surgery on, and it's done nothing but really get worse, but I think it's starting to get better now. So...
You know what they say?
It's taken 2 years, but...
it's like a kid. If a kid has a problem with theft, cut their hand off.
What?
If a kid has a problem with theft, cut their hand off.
Hey, it's only natural. He stole your apple. You wanted revenge.
Yeah. If an elder person's like not obeying stuff, Grammy's foot might just have to go.
I hope not. That'd be terrible. That'd be absolutely terrible for everybody.
Absolutely horrible.
Yep.
Absolutely horrible.
Oh boy.
No good.
No good. It was a wild, wild day. And then we ate it.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I cut the recording because it got a little crazy.
I was doing just fine.
You were doing just fine. I lost it.
My 8-ball-ness came out of nowhere.
I lost it.
There's a reason my G.I. Joe name is 8-ball.
I'm going to lose it again. All right, the corn job came out.
It's not the obvious
Dear
one.
God, it's been a long week.
This is the best episode yet.
This is going to be probably like, everyone's like, dude, what are you on?
Me?
Both of us. Dude, guess what I saw? I was watching my mom turn the channel, and guess what was on?
What?
Robots? Starring Ewan McGregor. And it was to the part where they were doing the armpit farts. I was like, Mom, she kills the lamppost. She's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, watch. And then she go... and the lamppost dies.
Oh, are we still recording?
Yeah, we're
okay,
recording.
Good. This is gold.
Yeah,
Golden wind.
Golden wind. What does that mean?
Oh, we'll get to it.
Is that from the anime?
JoJo.
Oh dear Lord. All right. What have we been watching lately? Our recently consumed media.
Boy.
That's what I have written on our show notes.
Okay, yeah, that's what we've got down. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
I know you watched one of my favorite movies.
One of your favorites.
Yeah, one of
Bumblebee.
my favorites. Bumblebee.
I'll give my thoughts on it real quick. Bumblebee. What is it? It's a Transformers movie directed by Travis Knight. It's a spin-off about the character Bumblebee.
Yeah.
The beloved, sweet character Bumblebee. What did I think of it? It was something. It was a step in the right direction compared to
it is a step in
the
right
Michael
direction.
Bay movies because it has something called a decent plot. Not a perfect plot, but a decent plot.
It's a safe movie.
That's exactly
It's
a very safe movie. It's a children's film.
I saw it as a family film.
Yeah. That's what I mean by that. Like a family. It's a family picture.
You can get away with a lot more stuff in Transformers because they're all robots.
Yeah.
I mean, like somebody got cut in half.
Yeah. Poor Cliff Jumper.
Oh.
He gets murdered and everything.
#, Cliff Jumper deserves better.
He gets murdered and everything.
Yeah, and then
except Earthrise.
And then Shatter just laughs. She just chuckles to herself.
She's evil.
She is evil.
That's what villains do when they kill people. They laugh.
She's a Decepticon. They were the best two Decepticons I've seen in a movie since 1986.
How long you been alive? That's a trick question.
Okay.
I know what year you were born.
Are you sure about that?
You fool. All right, Bumblebee.
Okay. Bumblebee.
I liked it. It was a step in the right direction. It's not perfect though. To me, because it started off as a prequel to the Michael Bay movies. Mm-hmm. Because in the fifth one titled The Last Night, they said, we're uncovering the secret history of the Transformers. And Anthony Hopkins was like, Bumblebee was here in World War II. He was mean as hell. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just sitting here like in the theater, like, just like, what is going on? I don't care.
Yeah.
You've already recycled a couple plot points. This is new, but it's not good.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, and then it bombed.
Yeah.
The Last Night.
But now we're on to Bumblebee.
Bumblebee did not bomb.
Bumblebee had a little bit too many callbacks to the Bay movies.
It did, but that was part of the prequel leftovers.
That was because this film started off as a prequel, and then like midway through production, they said, make it a reboot.
Yeah, because...
Make it a backdoor reboot.
Yeah, what happened is they started filming before The Last Night even came out.
Yeah.
I think The Last Night finished filming, and they went into post, and then Bumblebee started filming pretty soon before it came out. Mm-hmm. And then it bombed at the box office.
So they were already filming it when it bombed.
And Last Night lost $100 million for Paramount and Hasbro.
Oof.
So Paramount and Hasbro reworked their contract, and it now extends. They've got a new contract that extends through 2021 or 2022. Mm-hmm. And basically what it says is Hasbro now has more creative control over the movies. Mm-hmm. They get a bigger portion of the box office cut, and any Transformers movies that Paramount wants to make, Hasbro has to approve through Allspark Studios.
So that's who Allspark Studios is, like Hasbro's new. Hey, we handle Transformer movie productions.
Although recently, at Toy Fair this year, they've announced that E1 Entertainment One is taking over Hasbro. Media, stuff like that. Okay. So we don't really know what the future of Allspark Studios is.
Neat.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bumblebee.
Good
character design. The intro is the best part.
Yeah. Cybertron.
I give it a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 or 7 out of 10.
I rated it higher because reasons.
Well, you like it more than
yeah, me. Yeah. And it felt more like Transformers. The Transformers that I know.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not an action movie.
No. That was actually one of the main criticisms of it, is it lacked a little bit of action.
I can see that.
Yeah, and I think they'll tone up the action in a little bit because it's about warring factions. You're going to have a war. You got to have the action. And we've got 2 new movies in development. One of them is a continuation of Bumblebee. Whether it's a sequel to Bumblebee, we're not sure. It might just be the next Transformers movie. Okay. And then they've also got Beast Wars in production.
Like a movie?
Yeah. I'm very worried about the Beast Wars movie.
Why is that?
How many people do you know that know what Beast Wars is?
No one.
One.
Well, I know you.
This is me and my brother. That's like 2 people.
That's like 2 people out of 3.
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Actually, that's a pretty good number if it's 2 out of 3.
Yeah. And so how much do you think the general public would want to go see a movie about Transformers that turn into animals?
If it's got the Transformers name, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. And depending on how soon after it comes out.
Because wasn't Beast Wars just called Beast Wars and not Transformers Beast Wars?
Technically, it was called Beast Wars Transformers.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It really kind of depends on what they decide to do with the Beast Wars movie. I'm very concerned about it because it has better chances of failing than Bumblebee did. And Bumblebee had everything against it.
Yeah,
it had Mary Poppins Returns and Aquaman against it. And it was coming off the last night.
Dang.
Yeah. But it's still...
I do remember Aquaman came out.
It still made $450 million.
I saw Aquaman twice instead of Bumblebee.
I saw Bumblebee twice and refused to go see Aquaman. But I've seen Aquaman. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You want to hear some of my tidbits about the movie?
Yeah, give me your tidbits. Give me the fun facts.
The fun little things. Well, director Travis Knight actually talked about the reboot aspects of Bumblebee. And somewhere in this interview, he said, at some point we realized that we were essentially boxing ourselves into a corner that we were making choices that weren't really in the best interest of the film if we were trying to kind of sit within the overall mythology of the franchise. And so in that interview, he said that continuity meant a lot to him, and he really tried to keep the continuity with the Michael Bay films.
Yeah.
But as he looked at
the Michael Bay films barely have continuity in and of themselves.
Yeah. And he realized that, they were boxing themselves into a corner that would be a bad place for the movie. So I think it took some time for him to convince the producers, but eventually they gave him the okay. And so they threw together the Cybertron scene in about 3 months. Yeah.
Nice.
And
that scene is the best part of the movie.
And the Optimus scene. But Soundwave and Shockwave and Ironhide and Ratchet that you see are all repurposed Optimuses. So they took the Optimus design of the movie and reworked some shapes, made some new shapes, but the basic skeleton is the same as Optimus.
Okay.
They did the same thing for Brawn, Wheeljack, Cliffjumper, and that might have been it. They're all repurposed Bumblebees.
Okay.
And then RC, did you see RC?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a repurposed Shatter.
Okay.
Yeah, because they showed some of the CGI renders, and RC has the exact same feet as Shatter. And none of them really have a lot of detail on their lower half.
Yeah.
Like all of Wheeljack's detail is on his shoulders and head, because that's all you see in the movie. And you don't see a whole lot of them. So I expect to see a lot of changes to the designs. Maybe not a lot, but tweaking them more than anything, touching them up.
Okay.
Yeah. The truck at the end was Optimus. Originally, it was just an Easter egg, but as he never leaves the side of the truck, and then right after that, you see him with Optimus, who has slight changes to his robot form.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm convinced it's Optimus.
That's what I picked up from it.
Yeah. So I like how that connected. That was one of the leftover prequel things that connected well. What else was it? Oh yeah, the design elements. You know how you said you liked the design of Bumblebee better?
Yeah.
Early in the production, Travis Knight sat down with his graphic designers for the movie, and he said that he wanted to give Bumblebee and the Transformers more expression, more expressionableness. and they told him that they knew exactly what he was talking about, and they were going to go so deep into his face with tiny little pieces of detail that it was going to be insane. And he like backed them up and was like, no, that's not what you need to do. You need to focus on the big things, which is why Bumblebee's face seems more like 3 pieces, where you've got his eyes, and then he's got one solid nose plate, and then he's got a chin strap. And his eyes were bigger, which allowed him to show more expression. It's one of the reasons I like it so much better, is I felt like Bumblebee actually showed some expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally did. What else is there? I think that was it.
That's your little fun thing. Facts about Bumblebee.
Fun facts. I know they wanted to give Wheeljack a shoulder cannon, but they couldn't figure out how to do it right in 3 months. But I've seen concept art of him where he has his big old shoulder cannon. But they just couldn't get it to work.
Nice. What are your thoughts on the film?
Bumblebee?
Since I've kind of given mine.
Well, when I first watched it, I loved it. And I watched it again with another friend of mine. I loved it even more when I saw it the second time.
All right.
And there's I have no idea how many times I've watched it since it came out for digital release.
Yeah.
And everything. And I've probably watched the Cybertron scene alone even more times than I've watched the entire movie.
I'd rewatch the Cybertron scene a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's great. I know. I've watched the Optimus scene where he fights all the Seekers and everything enough times to notice. Remember when he does the somersault barrel roll over one of their heads? He just like...
Sure.
He just jumps and does like 3 spins in the air.
Yeah. I don't think I've watched it enough to notice that, but okay.
No. It moves really fast.
It does.
But it's there. And when he does that barrel roll somersault, he grabs the Seeker he jumps over by the chest, and he flips him over. I've watched that part enough times to notice that the Seeker, he looks up like, where is he going? He's like, what?
Little details
that I don't pick up on stuff like that in the Bayverse because I don't.
Because when the Transformers are on screen in the Michael Bay movies, there's a lot of explosions going on.
Yeah.
A lot of explosions, a lot of shaky, well, not even shaky camera work. Just a lot of junk in your face.
Yeah, it's a lot of junk. Revenge of the Fallen had the worst of that.
Yeah.
I thought, I know, big thing that I have noticed that's different between Bumblebee and the Michael Bay movies. How recent has it been since you've watched the Michael Bay movies? Because
Years?
It's been a while for me too, but Bumblebee, you've got the opening Cybertron scene. And you see Bumblebee leave Cybertron, and then you get the title sequence. And then it doesn't immediately cut to the human character. It continues Bumblebee, how he gets to Earth, and how he loses his voice and stuff, how he ends up where he ends up in the junkyard and everything. And then you get Charlie's side of the story.
Yeah.
It's the movie feels more balanced between the Transformers and the humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because where the Michael Bay movies had lots of humans and the Transformers had they were just cars in the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah, they really
Bumblebee
were.
was just a dog. Bumblebee felt like an actual character.
Yeah.
Did you think he had a personality? I think
at times he was played off as like a big puppy dog.
Yeah. He did lose his memory.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
That's the big thing. That's one of the big things. I was like,
That's I think
really?
Once again left over from the prequel stuff.
Okay, that's like my only issue with it. That's not my only issue with it. That's just one of the bigger ones that I was like, really?
Yeah. They took his voice away again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which in the end, it helped build his relationship with Charlie.
Yeah.
It did, which I thought in the long run of the movie, it benefited their growth together.
I guess what I'm looking forward to out of a new Transformers movie. Nowadays, I'm like, I hope Bumblebee keeps his voice.
Yeah.
And I guess I just want I think the way to go would be make like a Cybertron like a Fall of Cybertron.
A Cybertron-based movie?
Mm-hmm. And it's like the waning days of Cybertron or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you introduce your core cast there.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a little extra bonus characters that'll pop up here and there throughout the series.
That's the idea I had.
And then in the second one, you can introduce humans.
Yeah.
Because then you have your main character set up, and then you can set up,
Mm-hmm.
when they're on Earth, some humans.
Yeah. I had the idea that you do a War for Cybertron movie, which kind of tells how Optimus becomes Optimus.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do a Fall of Cybertron movie, which jumps ahead, and it is the last few hours of the war, or on Cybertron.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just an idea I had. I think it is possible that they could continue on. I think the next movie, if it's not a big, broad Transformers, it needs to have some kind of focus on Optimus.
Yeah.
Maybe not completely, because there was talk of doing an Optimus solo movie, and then there was talk of doing an Optimus and Bumblebee's buddy movie.
Okay.
Which
I could get behind that.
Yeah. If they did an Optimus Bumblebee buddy movie, I hope it focuses more on Optimus than it does Bumblebee.
Yeah, because we got a whole movie about it.
And I hope you get to see the other Autobots, because I've come to the consensus that if you're going to do an Optimus movie, you've got to have people for him to lead.
Yeah.
Because he's Optimus.
Because that's his thing.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you could totally make a Transformers movie that has the Autobots in it, but it has more focus on Optimus. Yeah. So that might even be how they do the next Transformers movie. I wouldn't be against that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
It'd be better than what I think we got.
With Bumblebee?
Yeah, because, like, I don't know. Bumblebee is weird. Not, okay. I don't know. My thoughts on Bumblebee are kind of, like...
Mixed?
Mixed. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's a bad movie.
Mm-hmm. But you don't really know where this is going to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much everybody's consensus.
Yeah, because I was like, you're throwing in a little bit too much of the Bayverse, which I understand. It was a prequel for the Bayverse at one point. I think that doesn't work in its favor.
Not really. I think, unless if they brush them off as just Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And don't really continue with them.
But sometimes, like, there's just really hardcore deep cut references.
Yeah.
Like
Simmons?
Yeah.
Simmons, yeah.
Or John Cena going like, what if they invade New York or Washington, D.C. or Chicago, wink, wink. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember when they blew up Chicago?
Wow. Oh, boy.
That was Michael Bay's producer credit going, remember Dark of the Moon?
Oh, boy.
Remember how good that was?
Yeah.
And us going, I mean, yeah, it was the best one of your movies, but it
was the high point of the Bayverse, but still not amazing.
It still isn't even the best one of his movies.
I know. Hasbro said at Toy Fair last year that Bumblebee is a new storytelling universe.
Good.
Nah, like, that came from Hasbro, so everybody else is trumped.
Who owns the Transformers? Hasbro.
Hopefully, they will keep owning them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
They're the only things that really bring in money.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. I read through their financial stuff last year, I think, and their home brands, that stuff that was Hasbro, things like, I think, Power Rangers and Transformers went up, but everything else, like My Little Pony and Nerf and some other things, went down, that they brought them down with them.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nerf hasn't been putting out good items recently.
No.
The only thing I want from Nerf is the Fortnite scar, because it's a meme. I just want to go around and shoot my friends and go, why aren't you building?
I've never been a Nerf person.
It's Nerf or nothing.
Well, I went with Transformers.
That's okay, too.
Yeah.
Hey, Nerf made some Transformers items.
It did?
I think back in the day.
I don't remember that at all.
Back in, like, 2007.
Oh, 2007.
2007.
Woo, 2007.
The 2007 Bayformers and Revenge of the Fallen.
The Bayformers.
Well,
you remember the end of
what
the movie?
did you rate Bumblebee?
I would have given it 7 to 9. Probably 8 or 9.
Fair enough.
Just because, after 10 years of the Bayverse, I finally got to see an Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
On the big screen.
You got to see the Optimus Prime.
And you didn't see him like, I'll tear you apart with my bare hands. Instead, you got him looking at Bumblebee and saying, go, I will buy you some time. And then he jumps off of a collapsing tower onto a moving jet and proceeds to take on the entire Decepticon army by himself.
Yeah.
And
that was a really
die.
good scene.
I teared up when I saw that in the theater.
Because you're seeing the actual Optimus Prime.
I got to see Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Not action movie Optimus Prime.
Not action movie Optimus. Just Optimus. And
it is really amazing, the jump between, like, the Optimus that, like, animated series, like G1 and Prime.
Yeah. Or any other Optimus.
Yeah. And, like, the Transformers, the Bayformers movies, the jump between them is amazing.
Yeah. I did a poll on my Transformers page months ago, last year, that it was the Bayverse versus the world, trying to prove a point to people that the Bayverse is better. The Bayverse is worse than literally everything else Transformers.
Yeah.
And each poll came out lopsided on the thing that wasn't Bayverse.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Prime beat it out by like 98%.
Well, that's because Prime is like... The people who made Prime looked at the Bayverse and said, what are the good parts from that?
They did. They really did.
And they made something great.
Yeah. Have you noticed that the G1 aesthetic is used a lot recently?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's because of the whole vintage retro kick.
Also, The Last Night bombed, and after that, Hasbro kind of did a mass reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Because now they've got these evergreen designs, which are basically the basis of what the character has to look like across the board. It can be either more G1 than this, exactly like this, or a little touched up, like in the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah. So like the Siege stuff went more G1, the Cyberverse cartoon went pretty much exactly with the evergreen designs, and then Bumblebee went a little more on the Bayverse side of things.
Bayverse G1.
A little more detailed stuff, yeah. And it looks nice. It really does.
I'm okay with original designs. Like, one of the better parts of those Michael Bay movies, I think, were the actual Transformer designs. Because they were interesting.
Yeah. Some of them were more interesting than others. Some of them I just...
But the color schemes were all messed up. Like,
yeah.
The only good color schemes were, like, Optimus, Bumblebee, and Ratchet. Because all the bad guys are black or gray.
Yeah, I think my brother counted it up, and every Transformer that shows up in those movies is one of 8 colors, and most of them are black, gray, or silver.
Yeah.
Like, a majority of them are black,
bad guys are black and gray. If you're a good guy and you want a basic color, you're silver.
Or black, or green, and the occasional red. I think
you can be red.
I think red is the least common color in the Bayverse. You've only got Mudflap and Drift in the Last Night. That's all
Dino.
I can think of. Dino.
I remember these characters because I watched these movies.
I don't even count Dino as Mirage.
Religiously.
Dino is not Mirage.
Yeah.
Does he turn invisible?
Who?
Dino.
No.
Okay, then he's
not just
Mirage.
Got arm blades.
He does in the game, though. That's weird.
Well, that's a game.
No, yeah.
So they got to have some sort of feature. Gosh.
Oh, the very end. Remember when they see the pods coming to Earth?
Yeah.
How many were there? I think there are 7 or 8. There are actually more than the number of Autobots you see on Cybertron.
Yeah, because on Cybertron, Optimus said, hey, guys, go to different corners of the galaxy and find our brethren.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I'm hoping Wheeljack and what's his face? Ratchet end up on Earth, and they're able to somehow repair Bumblebee's voice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe not in the next movie, but hopefully down the line. Soon.
Maybe we can actually have a Bumblebee with a personality besides...
Bad science.
I mean, here's the thing,
Weird
though.
Science.
Prime Bumblebee didn't have a voice, yet he had more personality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Prime Bumblebee had more personality than Bumblebee.
Yeah. Mostly because he didn't lose his memory in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I think that's my biggest complaint is the whole memory loss because you're taking damage, bro. I'm like,
I've seen Optimus take harder beatings than that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I've seen Bumblebee take harder beatings than that.
Yeah, that was just kind of like contrived plot point.
That is left over from the Bayverse prequel because the original beginning had a voiceover from him running away from Sector 7, talking about how humanity is not worth saving because he's seen what they're capable of in World War II and the Vietnam War.
Oh yeah, because
he loses his memory because
the
of all
Bayverse,
that. Yeah.
Bumblebee was a ruthless soldier.
Yeah, he was
for America.
Yeah, and I think it hit me and my brother after we saw The Last Night, where they're like Bumblebee was anything but nice behind the lines.
Yeah,
and we both looked at each other and we're like, "That's not Bumblebee." What?
Nobody was nice in those movies.
Nobody was. Just Bumblebee was not Bumblebee in those movies. Was he cool?
The nicest character in those movies was Mark Wahlberg.
He was.
And Mark Wahlberg was a butthole.
Yeah, he was.
Actually, no. The nicest character might have been Lennox.
Lennox was actually cool.
Yeah.
I think he could be.
Here's the thing about something that kind of hurts from those Bayformers movies. Mm-hmm. They're terrible movies, but there are parts that if you look at them, you're like, that is salvageable and could have been good.
It's wasted potential.
Wasted potential.
All 5 movies are.
That is one of my biggest things about movies. If a movie's just bad all the way through, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if a movie has wasted potential,
no,
that's just me going, wow, it's like, you didn't think hard on that one, did you?
It's like Six Underground, which was a Michael Bay movie, and it's fairly similar to the Transformers movies, but it didn't have that potential that the Transformers movies did.
Yeah.
And I know what that potential for Transformers is, because I've played the Cybertron games and other things prior.
Well, you've thought about these things, and you've seen other things do it better.
Yeah. I watched the Fall of Cybertron trailer for the first time in 2012 before I saw Dark in the Moon, and I started doubting the Bayverse.
You were like, they may not be that good.
And then I played the game about 2 years later and was like, you know what? I don't like these movies anymore.
You were like, I found something better.
Yeah.
The thing that I think got me, that I was like, I like this better than the Bayformer movies, was Transformers Prime. Because I was like, this is really cool.
Prime is good.
And I still, even after I watched Prime, I was like, these Transformers movies are good. Yeah. Like, my friends still will be like, dude, you like the Transformers movies up until high school. I was like, yeah.
Yo, me too.
But the change was, I started getting a lot more, and I started watching a lot more films. I started paying attention to things like character and plot. And I started going back to those movies. I was like, and then I watched The Last Night in theater.
Oh boy.
And
Hellboy was.
It was an empty theater.
Oh.
It was only like me, my dad, maybe 1 or 2 other people. And it was like the first movie that I ever sat through with like my arm on like the armrest, my face in my hand, like, when is this gonna be over? Because I was sitting there, I'm like, I just don't think I care.
Yeah.
And then like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm watching an action scene and I don't care because I know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think The Last Night had the worst wasted potential.
Yeah.
Because Cogman is honestly one of the best characters to come out of those movies.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a headmaster. Like, Nitro Zeus?
Yeah.
The big one-eyed guy?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a deleted scene where Cogman was supposed to cut off his head and then transform into a head and take over his body.
That's wacky, but okay.
Yeah, it's one of the headmaster gimmicks. And
yeah, Transformers: The Last Night really cemented the whole wasted potential of those Michael Bay movies.
Up to the point that it
and
lost
here's the thing,
money.
I don't think the blame is all on Michael Bay.
It's not. I know who it is.
Who?
Lorenzo Di Bonaventura.
He was one of the producers.
Yeah, and he's also the same guy who kept confusing everybody as to whether or not Bumblebee's a reboot or not. And he also said that it's impossible to make an Optimus Prime movie.
See, it's idiots like that ruin movies. I blame the writers for the Transformers movies, which I think Mr. Lorenza actually did have a part in writing in some of them.
Yeah, probably.
I think Revenge of the Fallen.
Nobody wrote Revenge of the Fallen.
Michael Bay does get part of the blame.
Yeah.
he doesn't go unscathed. It's just the creative team behind that movie, but those movies are just it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I have respect for the first one.
The first one's the best one, and even you go back and rewatch it, and you're like...
Last time I tried to watch it, I couldn't even I skipped to the final battle, and I still thought that was dumb.
Yeah. Even the best parts are not the best.
At this point, even if I try to turn off my brain, I'm just going to get annoyed by Shia LaBeouf screaming the word no 50 times in a row.
They make fun of that in a movie called Honey Boy, which is written by Shia LaBeouf, and it's partially based on his life.
Huh.
And the opening scene is him strapped to a rig, and he's just going, no, 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 no. And then he gets blown back by something. Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Chair.
Chairs.
Cursed chair.
Yeah.
And a cursed dog.
I watched it on Amazon Prime Video, and the cool thing about Prime Video is it's got that like movie trivia that pops up.
Oh.
And it was like, this scene is a reference to Shia LaBeouf being in the Transformers movie and the ridiculous amount of times he said no in them. I'm like, yeah, he says that a lot.
That was ridiculous.
No and Optimus.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes Bumblebee.
No, Optimus, Bumblebee. Those are his 3 lines. No, Optimus. No, Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Whichever's most convenient.
All
right. You ready to talk about anime?
I had one more thought about Bumblebee.
One more thought about Bumblebee.
But I can't remember.
Before I get educated on the ways of the anime.
I can't remember what it was. Something about the Michael Bay movies. Was it Optimus, Michael Bay, Lorenzo? I'm backtracking here for a minute. It was Lorenzo talking about how it's impossible to make an Optimus Prime movie. That was the last thing I said. I can't remember what I was going to say.
All right. Probably best if we...
You got anything else? Any comments?
Bumblebee, watched it on Amazon Prime Video. So if you have a Prime subscription, you can watch it there.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say watch it. If you're remotely interested, watch it. If you don't like it, cool. If you like it,
if you're
cool.
looking for something to maybe redeem Transformers, watch it.
If you haven't watched anything Transformers, go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, that was Travis's night's goal. He wanted to make a movie that even non-Transformers fans could sit down and enjoy.
Yeah.
And you know what? I know.
It's a safe film, so yeah.
Yeah, I know Rotten Tomatoes is kind of poopy sometimes, but it sits at 92%.
Bumblebee?
Mm-hmm.
I would have guessed it had an 80.
It has 92.
Better than I expected.
And it's the highest score out of every Transformers movie to have ever been made.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Even more than the 1986 movie.
Well, that makes sense. 1986 got cheese.
I thought it's 1989. That's a really good year for movies.
What?
1989 was a great year for movies. You got Batman.
Well, we were talking about 1986.
Okay,
the Transformers, the movie.
86.
Sorry. What happened there? Are you
I don't
okay?
know. I was going to say 86 was a great year for movies, but then it hit me that 89 was the great year for movies.
Yeah, so was 77 and 80 and 83. Just because of the Star Wars trilogy.
True. When did RoboCop come out? I can't remember. For some reason, my brother loves RoboCop.
Brother loves RoboCop.
Yeah, he does.
All right. You ready to educate me?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Anime.
That was like the only thing I watched over the past week.
Yeah?
I probably should have watched more Beast Wars, but for some reason I haven't done it.
You can watch, you can catch up anytime.
Anytime. Oh boy. But JoJo was kind of hard to watch, actually.
Really?
At the beginning. Because I watched the first episode months ago in English.
Yeah.
Or I tried to, and it was pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to take seriously. I just couldn't do it. And so I eventually decided to give it a second chance at the beginning of this year. And I watched it in Japanese and read the subtitles. But eventually that got too taxing, so I just started watching it dubbed with voice actors. Dubbed with American voice actors who spoke in English. Have you watched any anime?
No.
Oh.
I am not a man of anime taste.
You're not? Okay.
But, I mean, I'm always here to listen.
Always open. Yeah, part 1, the show is technically split into parts.
Okay.
And technically the first season has about 24 episodes. And 24 episodes consists of 2 parts. The first 9 episodes are the first part, which are about Jonathan Joestar.
Okay.
He's JoJo. And then the second part is about Jonathan's grandson, Joseph Joestar, who's also JoJo.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got a bit of a family thing going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first part...
What's so bizarre about the adventure?
That's a good question. Well, there's the fact that a lot of the main characters are named after British rock bands. Yeah. You kind of have to watch it to get the real bizarreness, but there's this energy force called Hamon. Hamon, yeah. It's spelled Hamon.
Okay.
And you pretty much, I think it has something to do with the sun.
The sun.
Yeah, Hamon is life energy pretty much. And there's a breathing technique. And as long as you can keep your breathing, keep yourself calm, you can focus this stuff through your body and deliver some pretty powerful attacks. It's pretty cool, I think. But you've got to get the antagonist first, because Dio Brando is the bad guy. And he ends up, as a teenager, he becomes JoJo's stepson. No, not stepson. He becomes Jonathan's stepbrother. And Dio is just an absolute jerk to Jonathan the entire time. Like, he throws his dog in the incinerator.
What? Whoa, that's a big...
Dio is a monster, okay? And there's this stone mask that it turns people into vampires, basically. This stone mask. And what?
This is freaking crazy. I think this is why I can't get into anime. It's even more...
Dio puts on the mask.
This sounds more complicated than a Bay movie.
But it's better than a Bay movie. And it's
more
probably just the order of which
better.
I'm explaining it, because I can't really explain everything, because there's a bunch of little details to all of this.
A bunch.
There's a bunch. And there's the stone mask, and eventually Dio puts on the stone mask, and he puts blood on it because it's activated by blood, and then he basically gets turned into a demon.
That's pretty bizarre.
It is bizarre. And then Jonathan has to fight him in his father's mansion, which ends up burning to the ground with Dio inside of it.
That's epic. Haha, get incinerated like the dog, Dio.
He didn't get incinerated, though.
Dang it. He should.
Yeah, but then...
don't kill dogs.
Then JoJo marries this girl, Irina, and they start to go on a honeymoon. They go on a honeymoon to New York.
New York.
They're on this boat going across the ocean to New York.
They go to Arby's?
No, but Dio's head followed them.
His head?
His head.
Did it grow legs?
No, it was basically Voldemort. Like, you know the beginning of Harry Potter where the dude is like carrying around this little Voldemort baby? It is a dude carrying around Dio's head.
Is it like the guy with the turban on his head and he takes it off and Voldemort's head is on the back of his? And he's like,
It's just this dude carrying around a head. Yeah.
This is my head, man.
Yeah, and
I pay him $50 an hour.
The whole thing Dio wants to do on the boat is to take over Jonathan's body and stuff so he can rule the world in Jonathan's body stuff. But Jonathan ends up making the ultimate sacrifice to save Irina.
Lovely.
Yes.
Because that's what heroes do.
Mm-hmm. And then you fast forward a little bit to 1938, because that took place actually in like 18-something.
18-something.
Then you fast forward to 1938 in New York, and you've got Joseph Joestar.
Yeah.
He's the grandson of Jonathan, because apparently Irina was pregnant at the time the boat blew up.
Okay.
Yeah. Backtracking a little bit back to Jonathan for a minute. Jonathan Joestar, his dad was poisoned at one point, and he had to go find a cure.
Yeah.
And he gets jumped by these dudes on the street. And he takes down 2 of them, and then the third guy attempts to take him down, but he fails, and JoJo doesn't kill him out of respect, or just JoJo being a good person. He doesn't want to kill this guy, and so this guy is like, you know what? This guy has inspired me to be a better person. I'm no longer going to be just a gang member, and he actually joins him in his bizarre adventures.
Woo!
And this guy's name You want to know what this guy's name was?
What's this guy?
This guy's name was Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
My name is Robert E.O. Speedwagon. You know what that means? R.E.O. Speedwagon, boy.
Speedwagon. And Speedwagon is amazing. I love Speedwagon. He comes back in part 2.
I didn't know if you were talking about the band or the dude.
The
for a
dude,
second.
Robert E.O. Speedwagon. After Jonathan dies, he
Robert
sets up
Speedwagon.
Yeah, he sets up Speedwagon Industries. Yeah, he makes up this. He founds this. What is it called? It's an industry that has to do with studying the occult and advancements in technology and other stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there's part 2 with Joseph and the Pillar Men, which are super beings from 92,000 years ago that have a history with the Stone Mask.
I got one word to sum this up.
Bizarre.
I was going to say weird, but bizarre.
Bizarre. I'm not going to tell you too much about the second part.
Joke,
the second part was great. I enjoyed that more than the first part.
Okay.
The first part was a little boring, honestly.
Okay.
But you know the Hamon stuff?
Yeah.
He had to be trained in how to use that. And
Speedwagon trains him?
no, he doesn't.
Queen trains him.
No, he meets Baron Zeppeli.
Baron Zeppeli.
Zeppeli.
Is
Zeppeli.
this a reference to Led Zeppelin?
You know it.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, and that's not even the best one. One of the Pillar Men that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
There's 3 Pillar Men. Well, there's a 4th one, but he dies early. And there's 3 more that are bigger and dangerous.
Okay.
And there's Cars. His name is Kars. And then there's Wamu, which is Wamuu.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's AC/DC.
That's his name,
AC/DC. They called him.
Okay.
They call him Master AC/DC.
Okay.
Master AC/DC. But it's not spelled AC/DC. It's spelled ESIDISI.
Okay.
Master AC/DC. What are you doing?
Okay.
That's a dog. And then there's part 3. I started the first episode of part 3 this morning.
What's part 3 about?
Part 3 is about Joseph's grandson, because he married a character named Susie Q. Joseph did.
That's a song title.
It is?
Yeah.
Neat.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, they got
Susie
CCR
Q.
up in there.
I love you.
There's also a character named Lisa.
Don't ask me about that. I don't know.
You also meet Zeppeli's son, Caesar Zeppeli.
What's that a reference to?
Probably Led Zeppelin. Again, he's part of the Zeppeli family. They're Italian.
Hey!
Hey! Caesar was beautiful. That's one of the best characters next to Speedwagon. And then the third part is about Joseph's grandson, Jotaro. And I don't know if Hamon is a thing in this part yet, but they have these things.
Don't ask who Joe is, because it's Jotaro.
It's Jotaro. He's edgy.
Hence the edgy joke I just made.
Oh, no. Oh.
Don't ask who Joe is, because it's Joe Mama.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about how combat works in this part, because they don't use Hamon anymore. They use these things called stands, which are like spirits that fight for them or something.
Stands?
Stands.
STANS.
No. Stands.
Okay,
Stands.
I'm done trying to understand this.
I'm standing.
I am
Stands.
standing.
Stands.
Oh.
Can you say stand or stands without?
I'm sorry. I've been yawning so much. We gotta sleep before we do these.
I feel fine.
You feel great. You're energized.
Why am I so energized?
I don't know.
I'm never this energized.
You eat some batteries or something? Energizer.
Might have eaten some battery acid recently.
I think you'd be dead, though, if that happened.
You would think.
Oh, you'd think. Battery acid is better than cocaine.
Cocaina.
That guy.
I don't know who that is. That guy's
cocaine. I'm just
so
kidding.
weird.
It's sugar. Someone was asking me about why my friend blew himself up with his 2 kids.
Dude is a roller coaster. Oh boy. Joseph in part 3 of JoJo is voiced by the same guy who voices Raiden in Mortal Kombat.
Raiden.
Yeah, so that's really cool because he's one of my favorite voice actors.
So, are you not done with part 3?
No, I started it this morning.
Okay.
I finished the second part this morning too.
What do you rate part 1 and 2?
Part 1 and 2? Part 1, for its importance to the overall plot, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And the second part, I'd give 10 out of 10. That was just awesome.
Okay. That all?
Yeah, I think that's all my
Is that all on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
For now. This has me hooked in now, because...
It's got you hooked in?
Yeah, I think... How long do I have till I catch up with my dad? Because he's been watching part 3.
Gosh.
My dad is apparently a big anime person. I didn't know this till like 2 years ago.
You figured it out 2 years ago, and you said, Dad, I've been living with you for so long. He said, it's just like an anime twist, son.
Just an anime twist.
All right. Clone Wars, Season 7,
time.
Episode 2, A Distant Echo.
Distant Echo.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Better than the first episode.
I was going to say that, too. It was so much better. Can we talk
While...
spoilers?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
It's been a week. If you haven't seen it...
Screw it!
It's been a week. If you haven't seen it, turn this...
Spoilers are on.
Yeah, spoilers are on. If you haven't seen the episode, go watch it right now.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
It's better than the first episode.
All right.
If you've never seen Clone Wars, go watch Clone Wars.
Do that. That is a public service. That is a service to yourself. The Clone Wars is one of the best Star Wars pieces of media ever.
Oh, it was
all right.
Beautiful.
Season 7, Episode 2, Distant Echo.
We
pick up where the last one leaves off, and they're like, hey, we think Echo's alive. We're going to go check on a planet.
Uh-huh.
And we get a great scene where Rex is outside of a bunker while Anakin talks to Padme.
Anakin's like, we have to do that thing. You know, that thing.
And Rex is like, oh, but we don't got time. And then Anakin's like...
we don't have time.
Anakin's like...
We have time.
We got time or I'm going to go crazy.
And then Hunter's like, there's some tension between you guys. I'm going to leave you.
Hunter's like, I'm tired of dealing with crap. He goes and talks with Big Padmame. Padmame.
Big Natalie Portman.
Yeah. Well, voiced by Catherine Tabor in the Clone Wars.
Epic. That scene was powerful.
Great scene. Just amazing. And then Anakin and Rex are walking away, and Obi-Wan reveals a bombshell. Because Obi-Wan's not an idiot. He says, did you at least say hello to Padme for me? And at first I was like, wait a second, hold up.
On a minute.
Hold up. He doesn't figure this out until episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And I watched a video and Dave Filoni's like, no. He doesn't know they're married, but he's not an idiot. Basically, he's just like, Anakin loves Padme.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I started to get shocked when I learned Rex did know.
Well, Ahsoka knew.
Yeah, and Ahsoka knows.
We already knew Ahsoka knew.
When did you learn that?
You learn that in, like, when she leaves the temple. Oh. Anakin's like, I've wanted to leave too, don't. And she's like, stop. I know. But this is what I'm going to do.
Neat. Ahsoka's a great character.
Can't wait to catch up with her.
Oh, yeah. Ahsoka's amazing. Captain Rex.
Captain Rex is...
I know, this Bad Batch series has been probably the Captain Rex war story I've wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
I've always liked Captain Rex.
Well, I think I rated the last episode like an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. I think you give it a 9.
No, a 9.
Yeah.
Now I give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
And I give A Distant Echo like a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
If not a 9.5 out of 10. Because the last episode was really just like an episode that was a couple of action scenes, the introduction of the Bad Batch, and hey, Echo might be alive. This episode is big story. You get that great Padme scene, and then they leave, and the Bad Batch's shuttle. Tell me if you can see the resemblance. to like a pseudo Lambda class Imperial shuttle.
Haven't we seen that ship before? Wait, I can't remember. Do they have the red shuttle with the bubble cockpit?
No.
Okay, so they do have the Imperial class shuttle.
They have like...
They have an Imperial
It's
shuttle.
like Palpatine's shuttle from Revenge of the Sith, except the cockpit area is different.
And it has Padme on it.
It did. Doesn't anymore.
Are we sure it doesn't?
I didn't see
I know
it.
there's a scene that...
There is a deleted scene,
Yeah.
which George Lucas was like, I like that scene, but since it's the final season, that would have been the only bit of Padme we got.
Yeah.
So he said, I feel like the other scene's better. I'm like,
yeah,
it's justified.
I like the other scene better. The one we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one we got.
The nose scene, though, is funny.
It's funny. That's just comedy. See, that was the original scene because Clone Wars was going to go until like season 8 or 9.
Oh. Wow.
They were going to have... No, I think they were going to have like 8 seasons.
Yeah.
And there was going to be more Padme episodes.
Ooh.
They were going to go back to like Mon Calamari.
Well, that would have been cool.
Her and Anakin.
See more Akbar.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But basically, Bad Batch, they go to this planet. Some stuff happens. And then Wat Tambor's on the planet. And they go and destroy some droids. And they go and they find Echo.
Echo? Or just Echo?
Echo.
Okay.
Echo is from Ben 10.
Yeah.
But we find Echo.
He's
and he is not okay. He's not okay. Last we saw Echo in the Clone Wars, he was running into a shuttle at the Separatist prison known as the Citadel as it was blown to oblivion.
Oh, like Heavy.
Yes.
Rip Heavy.
He was trying to capture the shuttle so they could get out of there,
Mm-hmm.
and a commando droid was in a turret and shot the shuttle.
Damn.
Turns out he survived, and the Separatists took him and hooked him up to a bunch of crap.
Looks like Wat Tambor worked some Frankenstein magic.
Yeah.
With some cybernetics.
Uh-huh.
He's in rough shape.
Echo's not good. The ending of the episode was great.
Yeah.
The animation just continues to impress me.
Beautiful.
Anakin has some good action in this one.
He does.
I'm like, we get to see Anakin in action.
He force pushed all those
Episode
battle droids.
3, Anakin in action.
I liked those Techno Union battle droids.
Yeah, those were neat.
They were like squished so they could walk through the narrow corridors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New battle droid types. Did you
Yeah.
notice the floating like Octaterra droids?
I don't think so.
There were like floating versions of those.
Wait.
I saw this post, and it was comparing the 3 costumes of Anakin throughout the animated series, The Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that first one with the Vader chest plate, the second one with like in between Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones, and now we have the full Attack of the Clones.
Revenge
For
of
the
the Sith.
longest time, full Revenge of the Sith. My bad. For the longest time, my favorite was like the intermediate one.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it again, and I looked at the Revenge of the Sith Anakin. I'm like, oh,
Aw.
I'm sorry.
Did you notice Anakin's hair actually moves now?
Yeah,
That was amazing. Nobody else has hair.
Obi-Wan's hair moved back in the original Clone Wars
Oh.
for a little bit. I don't think Anakin's moved because it just wasn't that long. But Obi-Wan, when he would be getting beat up all the time, he'd have this one little strand of hair that would move.
Oh, yeah. True.
And that was something big when that happened.
Oh, I bet.
Because...
It was Clone Wars and VeggieTales that spearheaded CGI animation.
Really?
And Monsters Incorporated.
Monsters Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
The Pixar film?
Yeah.
Please just call it as it is. Monsters, Inc.
Monsters
I'm sorry.
Incorporated.
That is my favorite Pixar film, and
I know,
it is
but
called
you know,
Monsters, Inc.
They had to like revolutionize 3D animation to get Sully's hair.
Yeah. That's still my favorite Pixar film.
It's great. What'd you think of You?
Huh?
Monsters U?
Oh, it's not as good, but it's okay. I wanted a sequel to Monsters,
There was some
Inc.
sloppy continuity in there.
I just wanted a Monsters, Inc. sequel.
Yeah. Anyways, back
Clone
to
Wars.
Clone Wars.
I give this episode 9 out of 10.
Me too.
Go watch the Clone Wars. You gave it a 9 out of 10 too?
Yes.
What's your favorite part?
Padme scene.
That's my favorite part. Second favorite part.
The deleted Padme scene.
All right. I think my second favorite part is where they're like, it's gonna be a stealth mission, and the door opens, and then Wrecker sees the droids, and he's just like, he just starts going,
Get to the
and
chopper.
throws a bunch of droids around, and he's like, sorry, I got excited, and it's like, Wrecker, you are big and strong,
Classic Wrecker.
but you need to stay on the ship sometimes, you idiot.
Bad Batch is like classic Wrecker.
Hunter's like classic Wrecker, and Rex is like, guess it's not a stealth mission. Anakin's like, oh my god. I'm usually the one who does this, and now I'm dealing with it. Like, usually Anakin's the one who's like, Obi-Wan's always like, it's a stealth mission. Anakin's like, yeah, pew. And now Anakin's like, it's a stealth mission, guys. And then Wrecker's like, and then Anakin's like, now I'm the one. Now I know how Obi-Wan feels.
Yeah.
All right, Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. It's over. No more episodes.
No, there's one coming out tomorrow or today. Today, because this comes out on Friday.
We're time traveling.
Yeah,
Time travelers. Professional time travelers.
pretty much.
Professionals have standards.
Matt Reeves tweeted some photos out, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
The new Batmobile has been revealed.
The Batmobile.
It's less of a Batmobile and more like the armored up, supercharged muscle car, which
Can Hasbro make a toy out of it?
Hasbro doesn't have the rights to Batman
Dang.
or DC Comics. There will probably be a toy made out of it.
I meant to say Transformers.
What?
I want a transforming of that. Transformer Batmobile. They have never made one.
Because they've never had the rights.
Well, they need to get the rights.
Hasbro did lose the rights to Batman in the early 2000s.
Dang.
So,
That explains why they didn't do the crossover.
the new Batmobile is unique. It's just like a muscle car with some armored up, and then the back where the trunk would be is the supercharged like afterburner. I feel like this shouldn't be his Batmobile forever, but the more and more they show, the more and more I'm like, this is an early Batman movie.
Yeah. I think I've seen comic book side-by-side comparisons of year 2, I think. And it looks like that. Batman had like a Mustang that had little yellow eyes on the front of it.
This just, I don't think this has little eyes on the front
No,
of
it doesn't.
It's just a beefed up muscle car,
Yeah.
off-road
Looks
tires,
like they took-
armor.
Looks like they took the original year 2 Batmobile that looked like the 50s Batmobile, but a Mustang.
Mhm.
And now they're making it like 89 Batmobile
I
as
was
a Mustang.
personally hoping not for like a muscle car. It looks good. I was hoping more like a Lamborghini. Because that's what he has in the Batman Telltale games.
Oh.
He has a Lamborghini, and he presses a button like the Mr. Incredible mobile, and it turns into the Batmobile. And that's cheesy, but it's cool looking. Trust me.
Cool.
It's cool looking.
It's cool.
I didn't want the whole press a button and it turns into the Batmobile feature. What I wanted is just a beefed up Lamborghini. Because that would be, it's fast. It's fast. He can drift.
Fast.
It's fast. That's all. That's the only reason I wanted it.
They're not.
You actually get a look at the ears of the Batsuit in this.
I didn't even look at that.
Because Batman's in the photos.
I know.
And everybody's talking about the Batmobile. I'm like, you get a full look at the Batsuit, though.
I'm liking
and it looks like the pretty suit, not the stunt suit.
Yeah. It looked like he had a collar.
He kind of does.
He does. I'm digging the collar.
He kind of does. It's
Kinda.
not full collar,
But it's
which
something.
I like,
Mhm.
but it's like a little bit of neck.
A little bit of, yeah. I think it looks good.
The ears are good length.
Ooh.
And in one of the photos, you can kind of see the bottom half of the suit.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That bat suit, besides the gauntlets,
Mm-hmm.
Because the gauntlets, I'm just confused about. But once we see it in action, I feel like we'll all be like, "Oh, that's Batman."
Yeah. Oh, with more images that come out, more and more I get excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that Robert Pattinson will do more than just a trilogy as Batman?
One can hope.
One can hope.
Honestly, I've heard there's always rumors that the Flash movie is going to be a Flashpoint movie. If that's true, what they need to do is just reboot the entire DCEU.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah. That's
Rob
another
Pat's
example
Batman. That's an example of a universe gone bad. DCEU.
Wasted potential.
Yeah.
Once again.
Here's the thing, though. Zack Snyder didn't want to make a Marvel Cinematic Universe of DC movies. That's what That's what DC wanted him to do. He wanted to tell like an Elseworlds type of story.
That wasn't communicated between the parties very well.
No.
Sheesh.
Well, here's the thing. It probably was, but DC was like, make them interconnected. Because I feel like Zack Snyder was working with the movies that were going to be connected, like Wonder Woman and Aquaman. But once BVS didn't do well, and Suicide Squad didn't do well, and
Justice League didn't do well.
Yeah. Justice League had issues behind the scenes. Which, rightfully so, Zack Snyder left production due to family issues.
That sucks.
But yeah. Yeah, the DCEU.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder had a vision that was very complete, and it's like, I may not like it, but it's a shame that he's not going to be able to finish it. But they might be doing the Snyder Cut.
They might. They've been talking about that for
a while.
Like 4 years now.
And now it's about every day Zack Snyder is putting... Every week there's a Zack Snyder morsel from social media.
Every week there's a Zack Snyder posted this.
Yeah. Which about every person who was in the movie Justice League has come out and been like, release a Snyder Cut.
Even Henry Cavill?
Yeah, I think.
I thought he didn't.
No, it was Ben Affleck who didn't. Now Ben Affleck's broken silence on it. He said, yeah, if there's like a thing, release it. Yeah. Oh, a follow-up to a story that we kind of touched on last week. Dan DiDio was fired, and I mentioned that there's a rumor that DC Comics might be closing. Now, that rumor, I've now figured out, was posted in an article by Cosmic.
Is that where it originated from?
Yeah.
Cosmic Book News.
Cosmic Book News, which...
Okay.
Terrible source.
Yeah. Just
Cosmic Book News is a rumor website, and just that. They post anything and everything. So, Dan DiDio, we'll leave it at he got fired, and we don't know why.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happening with DC Comics. That's but nobody knows.
No,
so
I don't know. I don't even know if DC knows what it's doing.
They did, and then they didn't.
Oh boy.
And we're in a strange time. Yeah.
It seems like the only thing that isn't on fire right now is Marvel and Transformers.
Who would have thunk?
That's because Transformers has already had its near-death experience.
Yeah, Transformers was in a terrible car crash.
And it's come back
10
out
years.
for 10 years. I know. I've heard the Marvel comics aren't doing too hot.
The Marvel comics right now are better than some, but still, we aren't in a golden age.
No.
But, we're doing the best. Comics are always just doing the best they can.
Yeah.
In every era, you have standout stories. And other stories that it's just like, I don't care.
Like they're giving, what the X-Men event is for this summer?
The sword thing?
X-Swords.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, why does everybody have a sword?
Let's give everybody a sword.
I'm sitting here, I'm like...
This is Sword Art Online featuring the X-Men.
I saw that and I was like, now listen, I can get behind like characters with swords, but you literally just gave every X character a sword for no reason. I'm like, Storm may be justifiable since it's a lightning sword, but Cyclops with a freaking sword. Wolverine.
He's already got 6 of them
Muramasa
coming
blade.
out of his arms.
Well, he's also used the Muramasa blade.
Yeah. What about Deadpool?
Just get all the X characters with swords.
Yeah, what about like Deadpool or...
I don't think they're
What's his
using
name?
Deadpool as an X character anymore.
Meh. Can we use him as a mercenary again?
Yeah,
Because I miss mercenary Deadpool.
the merc with a mouth.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, he's become more of like a superhero with quotation marks. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
When, like, I've read his first comic story, and he was definitely more of just a loose hired gun.
I like the Ryan Reynolds interpretation.
He kind of-
Superhero in quotation marks, but he's not doing big things. He's literally just doing stuff around the block.
Yeah. Maybe it's... I know the beginning of Deadpool 2, you got to see some of that mercenary work, which...
That wasn't really even mercenary work. That was just him killing a lot of bad people.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
Deadpool's a hard character to nail down.
He's a mercenary.
Yeah, I mean... There's been so many different versions of Deadpool, though.
Yeah.
You have that original version, then you get into the 2000s, you got like the wacky memed out version, the sad clown version.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Mercenary where he, I don't know.
Did some cool stuff.
He did some cool stuff. I like Mercenary Deadpool where he's a little darker. But not too dark.
Well, Deadpool, you can have like emotional centers and stuff to his story.
Yeah. I think I finally figured out what my problem is with Deadpool 2.
What is it?
Because, shoot, what's her name? Vanessa.
Yeah.
She dies at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of undo it at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like she's totally irrelevant by the end of the movie until they undo it. And they kind of undo the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why I like the first one better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, that was a thought I had today. I finally figured out what
just
I did.
right now.
Not just right now.
Just randomly
Sometime
today.
in the car, I think. Yeah. But I finally figured it out. I've been trying to figure that out for a couple years now. There's something about it that just... I like the first one better.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you ready to wrap it up?
Well, maybe. I don't know. You want to talk about any figures we got this past week?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I got a hammer.
You got a hammer, yeah.
Yeah.
I got Shang-Chi.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yep. This
He's got nunchucks and hands.
nunchucks in hands. This episode kind of went like...
Phew.
It hit like 100, and then it's just been gradually going.
You want to talk
down.
about robots again?
Robots?
What kind? The farting kind or the transforming kind?
All of the above.
All of the above. Have you ever seen Pacific Rim?
No.
Oh, I haven't either. Have you ever seen any of the Godzilla movies?
No.
Dang. I want to watch some Godzilla movies. Because, I mean, like, Godzilla King of the Monsters uses the Blue Oyster Cult song in the credits.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
I've listened to that. It's good.
It's epic.
Just chilling on a podcast.
It's just chilling on a podcast. There's a pencil sharpener. What's your favorite pencil sharpener?
One that works.
I had this little green one that I used in middle school, I think. Had a little sliding
We
door on
really
the
going to
top
talk about pencil sharpeners?
Sacapuntes.
Sacapunte.
El sacapunte. You know that?
I
means the
remember
pencil sharpener, right?
in second grade, I had this Lightning McQueen like pencil holder.
Oh, he had a Lightning McQueen one.
It was metal. It was a little tin pencil holder.
Nice.
I was so proud of it.
Very proud.
I loved it. I don't know where it is now.
Dang.
Yeah. Do you have your little words of wisdom picked out for after I say our outro?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right. We wrapping it up.
Let's go.
I apologize if this podcast has just been a weird train. We're gonna fix something in between now and next week.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
I think we're just worn out.
Yeah, I think the first episode sounded good, full of energy and everything.
Mhm.
I've noticed episode 2 and episode 3, I sounded pretty dead in episode 2 and episode 3. You sounded fine.
Yeah.
But now there are points where like I'll sound fine in this episode, you'll sound fine, and then I'll sound dead, and then you'll sound dead, and then we'll both be dead, and just
We're gonna fix it.
we need to work on our pacing.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's been a long week. That's
It
all I
has.
got to say.
Midterms. Yeah. Hope let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up.
See you guys next week.
Brandon just got real
Bye.
sad. Oh.
I'm enjoying this.
All right.
Okay.
Outro time. God, this has been a trip.
Been in.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good night, and goodbye for now.
In the
God, I hate how I said that. Well, I'm gonna do this one more time. I gotta get it right.
Mhm.
All right. I don't know what time you may be listening, my dear listener. Dear listener, if you listen, you are very dear to us.
Yes.
Because thank you. You support us. You're the best. And if you've made it this far, you're a real one.
You're a real one.
So no matter what time you may be listening, good morning, good evening, good night, and goodbye for now.
And the future is built on dreams. Hang on.